Before the dust of ancient Israel settles, before the echoes of forgotten prophets fade, there is a question that has haunted scholars, mystics, and seekers for thousands of years. How does the wisest man to ever walk the earth lose everything? What hidden forces could dismantle a kingdom built on divine favor, unparalleled wealth, and a mind so brilliant that even queens cross deserts just to hear him speak? Today we peel back the curtain behind the legend of King Solomon, not the golden figure from Sunday school stories, but the complex, troubling, and deeply mysterious man whose fall is one of the most dramatic collapses in all of Scripture. And as we explore this darker side, you will uncover ancient secrets, symbolic warnings, and patterns that whisper into our world even now. Because what destroyed Solomon is not trapped in the past. It still shadows the lives of leaders, nations, and dreamers today. Stay with this story until the end, and you will see the Bible not as a distant relic, but as a mirror reflecting mysteries most people never notice. Solomon's rise begins like a prophecy fulfilled. Imagine the young king, barely a man, standing before God in a dream at Gibeon. The stars hang low, the desert wind moves like a whisper, and the voice of the Almighty asks a question few humans have ever heard. Ask what I shall give you, not wealth, not conquest, not immortality. Solomon asks for wisdom, a hearing heart. And in that moment, something cosmic ignites. Ancient Jewish writings describe wisdom, wokma, not just as intelligence, but as a living force woven into the structure of the universe, the blueprint of creation itself. To receive it was to be aligned with the very fabric of reality. But the next part will surprise you even more, because the gift that lifted Solomon higher than any king would later open the door to the same fall that destroyed him. From the moment he wakes from that dream, wisdom pours out of Solomon like light breaking through clouds. Stories spread across the world of the two mothers arguing over a child, of proverbs crafted with supernatural insight, of riddles answered with disarming clarity. Scholars have compared Solomon's early reign to a flourishing golden age, a period where spiritual truth, science, poetry, economics, and diplomacy merge into one radiant expression of brilliance. And yet, beneath the glow, the shadows begin to gather, because Solomon's wisdom made him curious, too curious. His hunger for understanding pushed him into realms humanity was not meant to explore, and what comes next may change how you see this king forever. The construction of the temple, his most famous accomplishment, was not merely architecture. It was symbolism on a cosmic scale. Every measurement, every cubit, every layer of cedar and gold was designed to reflect the order of heaven. The Holy of Holies mirrored the unseen world. The giant bronze sea imitated the primordial waters of creation. And the two massive pillars, Yakin and Boaz, still studied by historians, Freemasons and mystics, represented stability and strength, the dual forces holding the universe in balance. But the next revelation uncovers a secret very few people know. While the temple was built for God, Solomon also constructed something else, something much darker. Scripture whispers it almost silently. Solomon built high places, hidden altars on hillsides, secret shrines for foreign gods, places of ritual completely forbidden to Israel. And he did not build them for strangers. He built them for the women he married. This is where the story takes a turn from historical narrative into something almost mythic. Solomon's 700 wives and 300 concubines were not simply signs of royalty. They were political alliances with nations steeped in ancient spiritual traditions, gods of fertility, gods of storms, gods of war gods that demanded devotion. Israel was commanded to reject. Each new marriage brought not just a queen, but a worldview, a symbol, a set of rituals. And slowly, almost imperceptibly, Solomon's heart, once aligned with divine wisdom, began drifting, pulled by the gravitational force of 1,000 different belief systems. But the next part will surprise you even more. Because this wasn't just disobedience, it was transformation. The man who once spoke in Proverbs began exploring mysteries far older and stranger. Jewish tradition suggests Solomon gained knowledge of plants, animals, spirits, and even the nature of demons. Some ancient texts, like the Testament of Solomon, describe him commanding supernatural beings using rings engraved with the name of God. Whether symbolic or literal, the idea is clear. Solomon was reaching into realms that blur the line between wisdom and forbidden knowledge. And hidden beneath these stories is a haunting truth. The same gift that made Solomon great also tempted him to believe he could handle what others feared. What comes next may change how you understand his downfall forever. Observe the shift in his writings. Compare the confident clarity of Proverbs with the haunting tone of Ecclesiastes. Early Solomon speaks like a teacher guiding humanity toward truth. Later Solomon sounds like a man walking through shadows, touching mysteries that leave him unsettled. I applied my heart to know wisdom, he writes, and to know madness and folly. Madness and folly. It is as if the very structures of meaning he once trusted began dissolving around him. The joy of discovery had turned into the exhaustion of chasing wind. He saw the rise and fall of nations, the cycles of nature, the vanity of human ambition, and concluded that everything under the sun was hevel, vapor, smoke, meaning that slips through the fingers no matter how tightly one grasps it. But the next revelation uncovers a secret very few people realize. Solomon's despair wasn't just philosophical, it was prophetic. As his heart drifted from God, fractures began appearing in the kingdom. Enemies rose where there had been peace. Fortunes drained where there had been abundance. Even the land itself seemed to groan under the spiritual chaos at the top. The Bible's portrayal is subtle, but chilling. When a king falls spiritually, a nation falls physically. But the next part will surprise you even more, because Solomon's collapse didn't begin with rebellion. It began with comfort, with success, with prosperity so great it blinded him to the slow erosion of his purpose. And that same pattern can be found in the stories of empires, leaders, and civilizations long after Solomon's dust returned to the earth. The symbolism deepens when we examine his choices through a broader lens. In mythology, wisdom is always double-edged. Prometheus steals fire and suffers for it. Icarus flies too high. Even Adam and Eve reach for knowledge beyond their boundaries. Solomon becomes another echo in this eternal pattern, the seeker whose reach exceeds his spiritual grounding. But what comes next may change how you see the sky forever. Because Solomon's story is not just the fall of a king. It is the unraveling of cosmic order within a human heart. Imagine the palace in Solomon's final years. The golden decorations still shine, but the atmosphere is changed. Music echoes down marble hallways, but the harmonies feel hollow. The wisest king is restless, pacing, writing, rewriting, trying to understand the contradiction between divine purpose and human desire. And as he explores foreign philosophies, magical traditions, and ancient symbols, the edges of his faith blur like ink running in the rain. His heart becomes divided, not between good and evil, but between truth and almost truth. And that is the most dangerous division of all, because almost truth can disguise itself as wisdom while slowly eroding the foundation beneath it. The kingdom fractures. A prophet appears with a torn garment, revealing the coming division of Israel into rival kingdoms. The line of David survives, but only barely, holding on to a thin thread of promise that one day, centuries later, would lead to another king, a greater one, who would not fall into the shadows the way Solomon did. But the next revelation uncovers a secret very few people consider. Solomon's legacy did not disappear. It echoes through history in ways scholars still debate. The wisdom literature he wrote shapes philosophy, science, theology, and ethics across the world. His symbols, especially the temple imagery, become foundations for mystical traditions, architectural designs, and metaphors of cosmic order. Even his downfall becomes a warning woven into spiritual teachings across centuries, that the pursuit of understanding without the anchor of obedience leads not to enlightenment, but to fragmentation. And yet, the story does not truly end here, because the deeper we look, the more mysteries surface about the nature of his knowledge, the truths he discovered, the rituals he witnessed, the spiritual forces he encountered, and the final state of his heart before he vanished from the pages of history. What happened in those final days? What unseen battles raged in the soul of the wisest man alive? And why does his story feel like a riddle still waiting to be solved? But the next part will surprise you even more, because Solomon's life contains clues, symbols, and warnings that point far beyond himself, into the patterns of nations, the cycles of human ambition, and the spiritual realities shaping our world today. And as we continue peeling back the layers, you will discover connections that few people ever notice, secrets hidden beneath the gold and dust of an ancient king who touched the heights of heaven and the depths of human frailty. And now, as everything we've uncovered comes together, the story of Solomon stands before us like a mirror reflecting the rise of a man touched by divine wisdom, the slow drift of a heart pulled by subtle compromises, and the chilling collapse of a kingdom that once gleamed like gold beneath the sun. We walked through the moment when God offered him anything, and he chose wisdom, a choice that opened the heavens. We saw how that wisdom illuminated nations, built the temple, and shaped the spiritual blueprint of generations. We traced his growing curiosity, the knowledge he pursued, the mysteries he touched, and the hidden realms he explored. And we witnessed the turning point, when wisdom without obedience became a doorway to spiritual danger, when the pursuit of understanding crossed into the pursuit of power, when love, alliances, and influences slowly redirected the heart that was once wholly devoted to God. His writings darkened, his spirit dimmed, his clarity fractured, and the greatest king Israel had ever seen became a living warning about what happens when the blessings of God are separated from the fear of God. But if there is one truth woven through this entire journey, it is this: Solomon's story is not just history, it is a message for us right now. It reminds us that no mind is too brilliant to fall, no heart too strong to wander, no blessing too great to be lost, unless we guard our relationship with God above everything else. And if this video has stirred something in your spirit, even slightly, then this is the moment to respond. I want to invite you right now, with sincerity and urgency, to write your personal confession in the comments. Share what God is showing you. Write a short prayer. Testify about what he has rescued you from, carried you through, or revealed to your heart. Your words may be the lifeline someone else needs. Your honesty may break chains on another soul. Your testimony may awaken someone who is seconds away from giving up. Don't hold back. Someone is waiting to read what you have to say. And if this message spoke to you, then I challenge you to share this video with at least 10 people, family, friends, coworkers, your church group, or anyone God places on your heart. Because when you do, you're not just sharing content. You're carrying forward God's teaching. You're becoming part of a divine chain reaction that can transform homes, restore hearts, and redirect lives. Every share is a seed. Every share is a torch passed forward. Every share is an act of spiritual obedience that God can multiply beyond anything you imagine. When this message reaches more souls, it becomes more than information. It becomes revelation. It becomes healing. It becomes warning. It becomes hope. Let's flood the world with God's truth. Let's push this message into places where light is needed. Let's become vessels of the very wisdom Solomon once carried. Write your confession. Share your prayer. Testify boldly. And send this message to 10 people or more. Together, we can take what God has given here and release it like a wave across nations. The story doesn't end here, and neither does your calling.